Hello, everyone. So for this week, I'll be showing you how to work with npm and node modules. This is something we've talked about in the course content, and this video is an addendum to that to be able to help you to catch up with what is in the course content and show you, proper uses for some of those things. So let's dive right in. So I'm going to my folder where I store my projects. I like to call it lab. Uh, if I open up that lab folder, for this demo, I'm going to create a new folder and call it demo reskill project. So if I say create, I have the folder there. Now I'm going to open this folder in VS Code. So I have this option where I can open with other application, and I select VS Code and select. Yeah, so the folder is open. On the left here, you can see demo reskill projects, but there's nothing inside of the folder for now. So this is deliberate. So you would see how I start a new node project from scratch. Sorry. So I'm going to press Control backtick to open up my terminal, and you would see that my terminal is in the correct folder, demo rescue project. So from the course content, I mentioned that if you want to start a new node project from scratch, you basically use a command called npm init. And once you press enter, it gives you an interactive session where you can specify the name of the package and all of that things. So here we have package name. So it automatically picks the name of the folder we've created. So I can just press enter to leave it at that. Now you request for the version of our app. You can just say, well, version 1 is fine. Description, I can just type here, say this is a demo project, and I press enter. Our entry point, it's suggesting index.js. We can leave it at that. Test command, I can just say test. Git repository, I can skip it. Keywords, skip. Author, okay, my name. License ISCE is fine. You can just press enter, and you will notice that it automatically generates a JSON object for us, which it is telling us that about to write to this folder slash package.json. So this is how it creates the package.json file for you, and you see the details of what we have entered: the name, demo skill project, the version 1.0, description. This is demo project. The main, which is what we call the entry point up here. This is something we'll discuss later on when we are looking on how to use the project. Index.js, the scripts, tests. Um, there's no need to worry too much about this part yet. The author is Idris, the license and is ISC. So now there's another interaction. Is this okay? Yes. We press enter. Now you see immediately on the left side here, there's a package.json file created automatically. And when we open up that package.json, we see the exact same thing we had in the terminal down here inside of the package.json. Now, this is for how to create your initial package.json file. Now, you notice that we don't have anything called dependencies, like what is in the content. So let's see how we add dependencies to our project. So remember I mentioned that dependencies um, entry is created when you actually install a dependency. That means a package. So let's use the same example we have in the content and say npm install. This is the command npm install, then the name of the dependency. In this case, I'm going to install a package called uuid, and then press enter, and now it's installing. So by the time it's done, we expect to see two things, three things: an entry for dependencies. Okay, now it's done. You can see an entry for dependencies. The uuid we installed has been added to the dependencies here, and you can see the version that it installed. We didn't specify a version, so it basically picks the latest version it can find in the npm registry. And then you can see some registry warnings down here. This is just fine. The package is added at this version, and that's fine. And then the other thing is that on the left here, you see package lock.json, which adds a bit more detail about the package that we've installed. You notice that it is still it is similar to the package.json with the name and all of that, but you see that the dependency is a bit more detailed, not just the name and the version, but it's also including the registry where it was downloaded from, and then an integrity hash key as well. So this is what happens when you install a package for the first time, right? So for subsequent installs, the package.json will have more entries, and then the node modules folder um, we also have more entries. So if I just opened the node modules folder, and you will see that an entry, there's a folder there called UUID containing the code file for the UUID package. Now let's see what happens when we install another package. So I'm going to say npm install another package called lodash. Now you notice that our package.json automatically updated, and package lock, we are currently in the package lock.json, and it automatically added another dependency called lodash. And if I go back to my package.json, you would see lodash has been added and the version that it has been added for. Now if you open the node modules, you'd see another folder called lodash that has been added. Now, we also talked about some things called dev dependencies, basically dependencies that you are not using as part of your production app. So they are only useful probably in your development environment. So let's see an example. We can install a package called npm nodemon, nodemon. So nodemon. This is basically a package that helps you to refresh your server when you are working on your development environment. So it is only useful for development. Now, remember the way you save a dev dependency is that you add save dev, right? And then you press enter. Then it will start to save. It will start to download, and then you expect that you have an entry for dev dependency right under these dependencies file. So that is basically it. So yeah, it has added that. So this is dev dependencies, and then you can see nodemon added as part of your dev dependency. And now you notice that our package.json is automatically just updated. We don't need to do anything to the package.json. You also notice that the package lock is also automatically updated, and then you'd most likely see a couple of other packages that you didn't actually install being added to your package lock.json. This file gets really huge very fast. And if you want to have a sense, we installed 3 packages, and then you can look at how long this file is immediately. That is because some of these packages also have their own dependencies. So when you install them, they will also bring in some other packages into your project. And then you can look into the node modules folder and see that there's a lot of stuff that have been added to your node modules. So this node modules file, the node modules folder gets really huge very fast. So it is important to note that. So when you are actually working on a project, you do not push these node modules to GitHub. So when you're working with GitHub and you want to show your code to other people, there is no need to push this entire node modules folder with a lot of packages to GitHub. So you normally had a file called a git ignore, a dot git ignore. So when you create a file called .git ignore, you just specify that in your git ignore you do not want a folder called node modules, and then you save. So whenever you push to GitHub automatically, this git ignore will make sure that this folder called node modules is ignored, while the rest of your file are pushed to GitHub. And another thing to note is that if someone else pulls in your code, and then they also want to use the packages that you've added to your package.json, it means and remember, we are not pushing these node modules to GitHub. So if someone else pulls in your code from GitHub and they also want to use this project, it means they will not have this file. So let me delete this file to mimic someone who is new to the project. Yeah. So I've deleted that folder, node modules, sorry, not file. I've deleted the node modules folder. It is no longer part of this project. And I want to install all of these packages freshly because I just joined this project. What all I need to do is say npm install and then press enter without specifying any package. It will immediately go to the package.json, look through all of the dependencies and dev dependencies, and begin to install them automatically. And then you would have the node modules folder show up. So let me quickly do refresh, and then you can see node modules folder is right back. So there is no need to push it to GitHub when you are working on a project. So this is a quick recap of the entirety of what that course content is talking about. So I hope you find this useful, and if you have questions, you can always reach me on Slack, and I'll do my best to provide you with the best possible response. So try this on your own, and let me know if you have challenges. Bye bye.